Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Decks of the Weekend. I just returned from a weekend in Berlin. I left on Thursday and came back home. Now it's Monday afternoon as I record this video, so right in time for the Decks of the Weekend. In Berlin, I made a lot of videos for Card Market that will come out in the next weeks, maybe even months, because we really made a lot of them. I played Pauper, Legacy, Modern, Pop. Pioneer again. I played also a very cool format. It was the semifinals of the Pro Tour Shadows of Innistrad. I played Band Company against Arne on Esper Dragon, so it was cool. I played against Frank Karsten. I hanged around with him the whole weekend. It's been fun. I always love the German community. Very cool to do this type of experiences, just like I did in Portland a few weeks ago. Now in Berlin, so really happy for that. But now I'm back to do my videos for YouTube, my stream. So back on the schedule. What do I have in front of me is a merfolk deck. Why? Because this weekend in Las Vegas they had this Magic 30 event. There was like no GP, but they had the main event was the following. They had 4 flights, 4 different tournaments where if you made the top 8 of each of those, it was 8 rounds. I believe they were capped at 250, if I'm not mistaken. So they had 1,000 people playing in those modern event. And the top 8 of each of these 4 flights was 32 people. The following day they played cut to a top 8 single elimination. So if you go 2-0 in the following day, you get access to a beta draft, actual beta draft. People open Underground Sea, Time Walk, Time Vault, Plateau, insane, like just Power 9, freshly open. I love old cards. I have a collection of beta cards. I mean, not a full collection, but some beta cards. So definitely jealous of those at that event. But yeah, one of the decks that went to the top 8, the tournament was modern. I don't think I've mentioned it. Was merfolk, played by a YouTuber, Nikachu, who focuses on merfolk a lot. So definitely modern always rewards their specialists. And Merfolk got the job done. Merfolk is a deck that I didn't put in my top 15, but certainly was a good choice because not only him qualified to the beta draft, also another player, 2 Merfolk, 2 creativity, 2 Rhinos, 1 for color control, and 1 Breach. I believe those was the top 8. Frank Karsten is going to make an article about that event on the Wizards website. So if you want to read more of that, definitely check him out. But yeah, so let's talk about this deck that in front of me. It's honestly a pretty stock merfolk list. The flex slots are the Subtlety, 2 main, 2 sideboard, Force of Negation, all of them in the sideboard, Dismember for main, and yeah, I mean, for that X Catcher, just this card now makes the matchup against Cascade good. It was used to be very bad, and now it's good. Not only you have, but I mean, obviously you need some extra help, which House of Void and Curse Catcher and Force of Negation to make it good, but now you can definitely get the job done just also in the main deck with Vodar and X-Catcher. If you're interested in watching this video, I believe I posted 1 or 2, I think even like 2, with this new card in my old ones. So definitely check it out. I'm gonna put it in the description because it's super fun and yeah, I mean just Murphy getting the job done. If this deck keeps crashing, I can foresee it breaking into the top 15 as well. That paper event was definitely a big deal. I mean, yeah, the prizes were also super cool. Like a lot of Legend booster. I believe that Nikachu won an Arabian Nights booster he posted on Twitter, which is an Arabian Night booster doesn't happen every day. Yeah, Mutavault, Coven of Souls, all the good ones. Pioneer. Let's talk about Pioneer. I have for you. Where did I put it? Sorry. It was a Fires of Invention deck. I believe it was this one. Nope. Where is it? There it is. 5-color Fires. Alright, so this was the deck that I want to highlight for my decks of the weekend. It is a Kiruga deck. So we are playing only quote unquote three creatures or more. Three spells that cost three or more. But no, because Leyline Binding costs way less if you start the game with two Triumph, one Rogrin, one Indata. You cast them for one mana, but in Pioneer is much harder because you don't have fetch lands. You just have Bone Crusher Giant to dodge that limit. But yeah, you got of course good cards overall like Fable of the Mirror Breaker. But this deck is very much a Fires deck because just like you're doing in Standard, you go Fires plus Cavalier or Kenrit, and you have all the mana to use to just draw cards, give your team haste, blah blah blah. You can get back Keruga for 3 and cast it for free with Fires. You have Omnath plus Fable Passage. Again, Omnath not amazing in this deck because we only have Fable Passage, but yeah, still, if you get the job done and get 4 mana, it's pretty cool. This is definitely the most important piece though, because of course playing a Keruga deck means that you're gonna fall behind and you need temporary lockdown to catch you back. You can also play Anger of the Gods, but I believe temporary lockdown is slightly better because it exiles each no-land permanent. There are some decks like Kata Oven, which is definitely a deck with Witch's Oven and things like that, and you can just clean everything. There's a Michiko Reign of Truth that also does reasonably well in the format. So the temporary lockdown has definitely some higher upside. Of course, Anger of the Gods is a good card and maybe might be slightly easier to cast. I'm not sure. I didn't count the mana base. Definitely something super difficult. You're one swamp in a deck with literally 0 black card outside of Leyline. So, but yeah, something fun. Whenever you see Keruga, which by the way you see a lot now. Respect the Cat made back to back to back, so 3 top 8 in a row in the modern challenges. With Keruga Omnath in Modern, the video that I posted a few days ago. So make sure to check that video out because Keruga is here to stay. I mean, basically what happened was, Keruga's like, nah, bad companion, who cares about it? Ignore it. But then they printed Leyline Binding, and the Rhino deck is now a good deck for Color Rhino. And the Rhino deck is basically Keruga deck. I mean, of course, you can't play Keruga in a Rhino deck because of Crushing Footfalls. But the way you build your deck, you have Fire and Ice, you have that gone. I mean, this deck is different. So in Modern, that goes. And then they were like, wait a second, but if they can do it they can do it in Modern, why can't they do it in Pioneer? And here you have Bone Crusher Giant and Leyline Binding as cheap removal, temporary lockdown to catch back, and then you go off with Fires and with Omnath. So that's a sweet deck. Even a Supreme Verdict as well. I'm interested in this deck for sure. I might play it on the channel in the next days. All right, last format I want to talk about. Actually, let me open a small window. Nathan Stewart won Worlds. That was another event happening. A Standard and Explorer. I don't really cover those formats on my channel, so I'm not gonna highlight for the decks of the weekend. But if you like those formats, definitely check Nathan Howard is a monster. Great, definitely worth checking out. I have a deck that I want to tell you, not because it's a new deck or anything. I mean, it's kind of new, but there's a player. It's a Spanish player, Baku91, and he did something that I don't think anybody ever did on Magic Online. He won 3 Legacy Challenges in a row. Now, this might sound like, I don't know, you go to your store and win 3 tournaments in a row. No, Legacy Challenge, that means that last Saturday, not this weekend, the one before, last Saturday and last Sunday, he won back-to-back. Already super impressive. And this Saturday, he won again. And then he said he couldn't play anymore, so on Sunday. So this Spanish player, is like something, I believe he posted something like 25-2 in a game with a lot of variants like Magic. That's insane. Obviously, blah blah blah, ban expressive iteration, ban Murktide Regent, all true. Probably this deck is too good and etc. But just that's incredible. Also, look at the number: 2 counterbalance, 1 Reveler Secrets. Well, if you've heard 3 days. By the way, if you want to hear more about this deck, make sure to check out the podcast that we recorded. Me and Javier, we talked about this deck for like 10 or 15 minutes in the podcast. It's on my YouTube channel as well, and His main innovation, other than these numbers, one delver, two counterbalance main, the Minskin Boo in the sideboard is the big deal. Because what happens is that Minskin Boo helps you in the matchup against control deck, where the control deck goes like Carpet of Flowers and tries to beat you down, and you're like, they exile your threats, you lose, but Minskin Boo like basically dodges prismatic ending. I mean, you can prismatic ending for 4, but that's harder. So yeah, it's just a dodges removal spell basically. So that's the big deal. And you have only one tropical island. You don't play the main deck, but yeah, one force negation main deck also cool. Yeah, despite this deck is like nothing new or anything, this deck must have been highlighted in my series because come on, 3 legacy challenges win in a row. I don't think it's I don't think it's normal. All right, thank you so much, everyone. I will come back tonight. Actually, we have a legacy video scheduled, so in a few hours it will come out on my channel. Death and Taxes. Ooh, ooh. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you for watching. And actually, I've been told by Car Market YouTube channel that I should tell you to subscribe if you haven't done yet. I usually never say it because, whatever, but he said it's important. So if you haven't done it yet, subscribe to the channel.